Ooh, we are live. We are the Sklar brothers.
How you doing, everybody?
Oh, hey, it's Friday night. Shabbat shalom to our Muslim friends.
Yep.
It's time for another Sklarantine comedy hour. We're going to let people filter in. We're going to try and get a nice big fat audience, which we've had for the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, thank you to everyone who's checked this show out. We get great comedians to come on this show, friends of ours, and people that we've admired, people that we're just meeting for the first time.
They do about 4 or 5 minutes of comedy. We may be thinking of a tag we can pitch them afterwards. And then we talk to them a little bit in between and talk about what it's like to be a comedian in this particular moment in time and how they're doing in their lives. It's one part stand-up show, one part pitching comedy writer's room, one part podcast,
2 parts Top Chef,
3 parts fun.
Right. Is that too many parts?
I think that's too many
That's
parts.
too many parts.
But we are thrilled to be here. This is just one show in a slate of many great shows that JFL is putting on throughout the week. So if you're saying to yourself, I'm sick of the entertainment, I'm not getting enough live entertainment, they got you covered on Mondays.
Monday, great show that they do on Monday. One of our
guests on the show tonight hosts a show. Bits for the afterlife, new bits for the afterworld.
Rosebud Baker
hosts a show, and that's Mondays, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern time. It's all new bits, and it's super fun. Then on Wednesdays, Characters Welcome, which is a great sketch character show in the UCB mold, 5 p.m. Pacific and 8 p.m. Eastern again. And then Fridays, you got us for Sklarantine Comedy Hour. And if you want to tip the comics you see, a lot of comics, we've as comedians, we've all lost the main source of our income if comedy is that source, live comedy. So you can tip them at Tickly, TIKLY, .co/just for laughs. Suggested tip $5 for the show. You can give nothing if right now you're going through a tough time, but if you feel like supporting comedy monetarily, no one's gonna shout at you for it.
If Elon Musk and Grimes are watching, who knows if they're trying to blow off steam after the whole baby naming gate happened.
Randy and I were thinking about how rich Elon Musk is.
Elon Musk is so rich. He is so rich. He is so rich. How rich is he?
He's too rich. Like, you're too rich if you and your wife named your kid. It's not even his wife, his girlfriend named their kid after their favorite private jet.
Yeah, that's too rich.
You're too rich. If
you're too rich if you have a favorite private jet.
If your children are quarantining with your nanny,
you are too rich. You are far too rich. If you are quarantining with both your wife and your mistress and they still haven't seen each other after 61 days,
you are too. If Dana White has asked to fight on your island,
you are too rich.
That is,
if you have one swimming pool for business and one for pleasure.
If you were diagnosed with COVID-19 by Dr. Phil,
you are he's rich.
They're too rich. That's just a fact.
But I'm just going to say this to Elon Musk, and we're going to give this to you. All right. You already have a lot of money, but we're going to give this idea to you. And we've always,
this is a $1 trillion idea.
You ready for this? Bezos, watch your back, because Musk is coming. We say Elon Musk should have his own cologne,
his own fragrance, men's fragrance,
called Elon Musk.
And what does it smell like?
It smells like you just burned your baby mama on Twitter.
Okay,
that's what it's a little.
And by the way, if you think that we're just pitching like men's fragrance out of the blue,
no,
lest you forget, in the 1990s, Randy and I had an idea for a men's fragrance that smelled like Macaulay Culkin. It was called Home Cologne.
It's cologne that you wear when you're only at home.
When you're at home. And what more fitting than right now during this pandemic? Hey, I want tonight to be a special night.
I want to smell good when I go from my bedroom to my kitchen.
I want to smell like an apartment that is accidentally burned down.
Home cologne.
Home cologne.
When I realized that we could have made home cologne, and right now in the quarantine, we could have made a killing. Do you know what expression I made? It was,
It was pretty silly. So that's the kind of comedy you can expect tonight. I mean, Randy and I were on our podcast this week. We have a daily podcast.
We talked about how in the quarantine, one thing that people are finding right now, as it's day 61 or day 62. I can't even remember. It's been a long time.
People are learning secrets about. It's hard to hide stuff in
number one and number two. You got to get hobbies. You got to get hobbies if you're going to make this thing through, whatever that may be, whatever your hobby may be, Sudoku, whatever it may be,
puzzles,
whatever it may be, needlepoint,
Pornhub. whatever you need to get through.
Right.
But so Randy and I were remembering when we were 11 and our parents, this is how nerdy we were. I don't know. We saw it in the back of a magazine, which I don't know what magazine it was.
No idea what magazine it was, but Jay and I were like, we wanted to needlepoint so badly. We saw these little pillows that you could make, and we're like, we got to have these things.
We have to be. I think our neighbor was needlepointing, and
we're like, we got to.
Can we get in on this?
We get in on this needlepointing thing on the ground floor.
So we asked our parents, will you buy us these needlepointing kits?
And our parents were like, no.
And I'll tell you why. As a parent now, I understand why they said no. Because it's fun as a parent in a low-stakes situation just to say no.
I think it was like $4.99. They could have spent $4.99 to get us pillows to needlepoint with. But
or your kid could be like, can I get a new iPhone cover? And it's $5.
But you're like, no.
It feels good to say no.
It feels good to be like, no.
So every once in a while, you're going to get a no in your face.
Right.
So you grow up with character.
So our
parents said no.
No.
So instead of just laying down and taking it, I mean, this was needlepointing. This was our first passion.
Right.
We went behind their backs and we ordered the needlepointing kits. And when they came, we hid them and we started needlepointing up in our rooms. And this was as puberty was hitting.
Hiding our needlepointing from. You literally needlepointed in a closet.
I couldn't come out of the closet as needlepointers.
That's right.
And so we were stuck needlepointing as best we could. My needlepoint thing was a little picture of a dog holding a bone in his mouth. It was brown dog,
white bone, yellow background.
Yellow background.
My pillow was a tiny football that was on a caddy corner there. Again, same colors. Yellow background, brown football, white laces.
What is the Venn diagram of diehard football fans and needlepointers?
Well, it's the first thing you think about when you think of needlepointing is the game of football.
I honestly thought to myself, had Ray Rice been needlepointing, maybe he wouldn't be in such hot water.
Okay.
I'm just saying. I mean, that's a fact.
Tyreek Hill too. All of them.
So, we were hiding the needlepointing, progressing within our needlepointing.
Yeah.
We finally finish each of our needlepointing, and we can't put them in frames because that would be a bald slap in the face.
That really, to our parents.
So
open defiance.
So we decided that the other option, and in the kits, they say you can turn them into pillows. You just have to find some fabric to put on the backside and then stuff them with pillow stuffing. So the fabric we found was old
wallpaper,
clips of our wallpaper, which,
of course,
nothing smoother and softer than wallpaper.
It's a lie on wallpaper.
And by the way, these pillows were like this big.
They weren't throw pillows.
They were toss pillows.
Tiny.
Toss pillows.
Tossing off pillows.
So we had these tiny pillows. We put and then we didn't, it's not like we could run up to like a craft store and suddenly get pillow stuffing.
No.
We couldn't let our parents know that we had been behind their backs needle pointing all this time.
No.
So we had to make an executive decision, decide what we were going to stuff these pillows with.
And we decided to stuff it with our old ratty underwear.
Now, let me just say this. If one 11-year-old boy, I have an 11-year-old son right now, that's a decision that he would maybe make. And
it's like a dumb decision.
I would chalk that up to when you're an 11-year-old boy, you're going to make some dumb decisions. But we both conferred on that.
There was a consensus between us that we should put our old underwear.
That was collective dumb that we're like, yeah, that seems like a good idea. Stuff this old smelly underwear into each of the two little pillows. And then we sewed it up. And it was the lumpiest, worst smelling pillows in the history of pillows.
But it made perfect sense.
Yes.
Because I would say those were the two shittiest pillows of all time.
There you go. I think we're ready to start a show.
I think we are ready to start a show. Do we have our first guest ready?
Is she in the house? Is she in the box? Is Rosebud there?
I'm so excited for our first guest. She hosts a show on Mondays here with JFL. It's a fantastic show. She's a great comedian. We are huge fans of her material. Would you please welcome, if she is here,
Rosebud Baker.
Hi. Hello.
Yeah.
How are you guys?
We're good. We're ready to watch you do some comedy, and then we'll talk to you after, all right?
Okay, awesome. Thank you. This is great. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be doing this show, or just to be anywhere other than in my head. It's been a little rough these days. I've been inside in the same room with my fiance for 60 days. It's a little rough. I feel like the isolation is rough, even if you're with somebody else. I think that suicide is going to go up. I think the suicide rates are going to go up, but you got to mean it, because Amazon's going to run out of rope. And I don't think I don't think suicide's funny, but I think it's pretty funny to like want to kill yourself and then have to wait like 3 weeks for the rope to arrive.
Right. That's
Where you're just sitting there and you're like, oh my God, if this rope doesn't get here, I'm gonna fucking kill myself. That's pretty funny to me. I don't know. I think it's great that we're like thanking the nurses. I'm in New York City, so it's like we do this thing, you know, a lot of people, big cities are doing this where 7 p.m. comes around, we all get on our roofs and we're like, this'll fix it. And but it's good. It's good that we're thanking the nurses because my sister's a nurse and she remembers money I owe her from the ice cream truck. So it's important that we're giving them their moment. You know, I think nobody really appreciates nurses as much as they do. You know, they're heroes and they will tell you that. They will. And it's not that what they're doing isn't heroic. It really is. Like I'm amazed. It's just a bummer to hear about it. Like I called my sister last week and I was like, hey, how was your day? And she goes, oh, it was pretty rough. She was like, I had to pull the plug on my favorite patient. And I was like, your favorite patient? She goes, yeah. I was like, what do you do to the ones you don't like? She hated that. She was like, not everything's a fucking joke, Rosie. And I was like, no, but I mean, you set that up. I feel like I knocked it out of the park, you know?
Right. Yeah.
I'm like, we're both doing our jobs here. We're both killing. Anyway, there was this video that went viral of a bunch of nurses dancing to cheer up corona patients who can't breathe, by the way. Dancing to cheer up patients who can't breathe, to me, is like walking a tightrope to cure MS. And I hate to ruin that video for anybody, but I just watched that and I was like, well, it seems a little insensitive to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got engaged on the 3rd day of quarantine, 3 days into quarantine, and now we've been married for 28 years. And we went from being newlyweds to just being married for 28 years. And now it's shifted into this. Now we're just siblings. Like we were in the park the other day and I just punched him in the leg and then just to make myself laugh. And then he punched me in the leg and we both just cracked up. It was like, we were both just thrilled to feel something. I've gotten so bored in quarantine, I started checking his phone just to talk to someone else. And we're both sober, so that's nice. We're really fun at parties. We're sober, and I've been sober a little bit longer than him. I'm like such an addict. I don't recommend getting sober to anyone that isn't positive they have a problem, because here's the thing. Like I lost a lot of weight quitting drinking, but it was all water weight. Like it was just sobbing a lot. And I'm such an addict that when I first heard about the opioid crisis, I just thought we were running out of heroin. I was like, oh, we got to get more of this shit. These junkies are going to rob us all fucking blind. I know I'm doing 4 minutes. I don't know exactly how long I've been doing, but you guys will let me know, right?
I mean, give us one more. Give us one more, and then we're going to pitch you some stuff.
Give you one more. Okay. So I used to date black guys, which is something that white guys say when you've dated one black guy.
Yeah.
And I used to date black guys, and they say once you go black, you'll never go back. And it's not necessarily true. It's that once you go black, you might go back, but white guys will seem gay. I tried getting my fiance a pair of Jordans, but it just looked like I was trying to soup up a Honda Civic.
Yeah.
You know? That's it. That's all I got. Thank
I
you guys.
love
It's so funny. I love
Thanks.
it. I have to say, I love the waiting for the Amazon rope. Waiting for
Yeah.
the rope on Amazon is so. I feel like you could even get further into like. I keep checking the green line. It says it's shipped. Now I have to call USPS and see where it is in the line. And I'm
Yes.
like,
Yeah.
I'm literally at the end of my rope here right now, but I don't have it.
That's great. That's good.
I love the idea of at the end of the conversation. This is my pitch to you. At the end of the conversation with your sister, when she tells her about her favorite patient, I just said, "What's her name? What's your sister's name?"
Hallie.
I just said, "Hallie, that's great. I'm gonna have to pull the plug on this conversation right now."
That's great.
But it's my
Oh, I love
favorite
that.
conversation. You're my favorite.
or say, you know what? I can relate. I had to today. I killed one of my favorite jokes. It's no longer in the act anymore.
I had to
I
kill
took
it.
it. Appreciate that.
I love the idea of the acceleration of time with your fiance. That's crazy. I mean, that is crazy. You got engaged 3 days in.
Yeah.
That's just. I mean, did he got down on one knee and he said, honey, take off your mask.
This is important.
Yes.
And inside of your mask was the ring. It's so
That's
hard to be
great.
romantic, but that is really funny that you this quarantine or this whole pandemic has taken away your honeymoon period, essentially.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's disgusting.
I can't believe you're doing it in New York. That's just nuts too, because it's small quarters and that's just not. How are you? Are you writing? Because you've written a ton of stuff about this whole pandemic. Which is awesome.
And do you try that stuff out on the Monday night show that you do for the JFL folks?
Sometimes I'll try some of that stuff out. It's like I just started kind of giving into Zoom shows. Everything that I was doing before was like, it was really raw. And these are jokes that I know are jokes, you know? Right. Yeah. So on the Monday shows, I usually try to go with something that's like more of a premise, and then we all kind of like work it out together.
Great.
Yeah, but it's crazy because we actually flew back to New York because we were in LA for the first 2 months of quarantine and not in our home. We were just subletting. Yeah. And we came back with 2 dogs on JetBlue.
No.
We were the most obnoxious people on the plane if there was anyone else there. Like it was so unacceptable. But everyone, is asking me how it was flying, and it's lawless. I watched a person store a flat screen TV wrapped in a sheet in the overhead compartment.
Gee, it's like Coachella on every plane.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I'm like, I love it. I love seeing the airlines go broke. I just love it. Just after all the years of pain, just after
all the years of charging me for my second fucking bag.
Yeah, I'm just like, yeah. I'm like, what? You don't have the space now? They actually had the nerve to be like, you can't sit up there. Those are the even more space seats.
No.
And I was like,
how
could there's 6 of us here.
Right.
Watch me sit up there.
You were the most annoying. Is that your fiance in the background?
Yeah, that's Andy.
I love it, Andy. Yeah, Andy, I love it. She's not doing a show or anything right now.
Yeah.
You were the most annoying people, and that includes the 27 Hasidic Jews that were praying on the plane.
Oh, jeez.
Yes.
All right.
Well, you were great. Thanks for doing the show.
Thanks for having me.
Your show is great on Monday nights too. Everyone, if you enjoy this, check that out on Mondays. New bits for the afterworld, and you guys work out the bits. Premises are brought up. You guys work them out and take them to a new place, which I think it's really cool to see the process of comedy work itself out in front of people in real time. It's awesome.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for having me. This was really fun.
Of course. Thank you. Rosebud Baker.
Rosebud Baker. Fantastic.
I love it.
Damn, the show there.
She came with some solid shit jokes. She had straight up jokes. Also wasn't afraid to take it to nurses. And because her sister is a nurse, she can bring it. Because that falls under the rubric of making fun of
I can make that joke. My sister's a nurse.
That's right. All right. Who's next on this show? I'm so excited about who's next because I'm just a humongous fan, of his stand-up.
Yes.
I love his podcast. We'll talk about that with him that he's got going on. He's in Denver, one of the best comedy scenes out there. He's got a 1.5-year-old son that he is quarantining with right now. It is our good friend. He was one of the stars of Those Who Can't on True TV. Our friend, great comedian, podcaster, Adam Cayton-Holland. Welcome to the show, ACH.
Are you there, buddy?
Guys, I got Malcolm here.
What's up, bud?
We just wanted to say hi before bedtime, but really, I just wanted to get him a Just for Laughs credit before most of the comics that I know. So
You did it, and there's like a lot of babies out there like, what? I've been auditioning for JFL for at least 6 months.
New faces, new faces, new faces.
That's actually a new face.
That is a really new thing. All
I
right.
thought it was-
And you handed that off not to your wife. You just handed that to a random person.
Yeah, just to a handler.
we got a series of coat hooks back there.
Great.
All right, hit us with some Adam Cayton-Holland material, and then we'll talk after, buddy.
All right. Well, it's hard not to write about the coronavirus, and I just think it's a very chaotic time, and it's hard to feel any control. You're powerless. So I'm trying to implement little things that I can control in my life on a daily basis to just take some of it back. Like, it sounds very small, but every morning I wake up and I make the bed, and that's one small thing that I've got control over, no matter how minute it seems. And then once I've made the bed, I just lay out the suit I'd like to be buried in, right on the bed, right where I sleep. And that's just one less thing to worry about. And that's nice. That's done. And now I can move on with my day. It's also very strange to do these shows, these Zoom weird shows. Yeah. It's not what we do, and it's hard to work with. But I am lucky that I do a lot of weird shows. Like I've lately been doing a lot of corporate shows. Mm-hmm. And those are weird. I mean, for those of you who don't know what a corporate show is, if comedy is a lion, then a corporate show takes away the lion's teeth and claws and it takes it out of the jungle and makes it perform in a Radisson hotel room for a bunch of Republicans. Doing a corporate gig recently, I get there, the guy who's the MC, not a comic, just a guy that works for the company, and his name's Brad. And he's like, hey, are you the comic? I'm the MC. And I was like, great. And he goes, how do you want to be introduced? And I started to think of the credits, and he just cuts me off and he goes, you know what? How about I just make fun of you for having a hyphenated last name? It's like, sure. We just met. We're not friends at all. How about you make fun of both sides of my family right out the gates? Yeah. Sure, Brad, go for it. So Brad just goes up there and just eats shit for a hot 5. Just bombing, the awkward, no one's making eye contact, like Fop Sweat eats shit. And then this is his take. He goes, all right, are you guys ready for your headliner? And they go, yeah. They were so tempted. No. He goes, this next guy, it's got a hyphenated last name. What an asshole. That was Brad's twist. That was the whole spin on the hyphenation. Mm-hmm. And then he just goes, anyway, and nobody laughed because it's not funny. Nobody laughed at that at all. And he just goes, anyway, Adam something, and brings me out.
No.
So I had it ready to go. I said, yeah, my name's Adam Cayton-Holland. It's a hyphenated last name. I don't know what my mom was thinking. Actually, I know exactly what she was thinking. I think she was thinking if she was going to go through the pain of 3 childbirths, she'd probably just attach her last name somewhere in the mix. She needs to know her place, right, Brad? She reminds me of the guy at the office who thinks he's funny, and then he tried stand-up comedy for the first time in his life and bombed so hard in front of all of his coworkers that they just want him to leave.
Yeah!
And it felt really good. It felt really good to just stick it to Brad like that. I felt really powerful in that moment. And then I just ate shit for 40 minutes straight after that, just the whole time. And I got off stage and I found Brad at the bar and I was like, listen, man, that's not on you. That's just a bad audience. I don't know what their problem was. Something. That's cool, dude. Anyway, Brad's been opening for me on the road, and this dude's a merch machine. Got this that say Bradical, Brad to the bone. And he races out there. He meets everybody. Just really moves those t-shirts.
Yeah.
What else? Oh, I got one. Here's a dumb one, boys.
Yep, love it.
I just feel like things were simpler when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I was a kid, we lived by one rule only. Whoever smelt it dealt it. That was it. We respected that rule. Then we got older. Things got more complicated, and we learned that whoever denied it supplied it. That flew directly in the face of whoever smelt it dealt it. And in 8th grade, I shit my pants during a baseball game. Suddenly, the origin of farts didn't seem all that important to me anymore.
Yeah.
More pressing concern was figuring out how to shed the nickname "turd baseman" before I got to high school.
Yeah.
That's the kind of highbrow stuff I've been bringing during the quarantine.
I love it.
Excellent stuff.
That's my quar 4.
You dropped a deuce and they called you turd baseman. That's what's so crazy.
Nice.
Also, you should be on second. That's so funny. I love the Brad. Like I love that Brad's attack on the last name is on you. What an ass. Like I had anything to do with it.
Right, Brad. Yeah, that's a good point.
That is such a funny, and I feel like, of course, I'm like, I want to do like 10 more Brad t-shirts. I want all the Brad t-shirts.
I think if I get back to the real comedy, yeah, you just hit him with Brad t-shirt.
Not Brad meaning Brad, but Brad meaning good.
Oh, I'm writing that one down.
It's a Brad world. It's an older reference. Thank you.
Brad Max Beyond Thunderdome. Going into every direction.
Dude,
keep
going. Don't let up.
Of all the comics we know, just to tell a story, just to go off on a Brad tangent for like 4 to 6 minutes.
Here's my suggestion. You write 30 of them. Okay.
I love this.
And you tell the Brad story early. And then after bits way later in your act, you just come right back.
Throughout the whole set,
you just toss another one out there.
That's such a good idea because I love that. Like, you think this guy's like, he's not going to do it again. And minute 41, you're still going to the Bradwell. I love it.
And then you make the merch.
Oh,
and you sell the freaking merch. Come on.
Like, in order for the bit to work, I'm becoming Brad. You realize what you're doing?
You're basically becoming Brad. Then
you Brad, bro.
Don't get Brad, bro.
Tom Brady and Richard Sherman's their faces and cutouts. You Brad, bro? And there's Brad in the background. How great would it be if then you started working at the company and you stopped doing comedy altogether? You know how to
5 years from now, I open for some comic at the like corporate event. It's just a weird like Black Mirror.
Oh my God!
I mean, we've had the worst corporate gigs ever. We did a corporate gig where we showed up in Vegas, and the stage was 250 feet away from the audience.
And we were performing in front of a bunch of people who owned independent Winnebago dealerships around the world.
The kind of people who would love our comedy.
These are the indie guys. They're not the mainstream dudes. They're the indie Winnebago guys.
That's right.
So I walk into the room, and the first table is like 1,000 yards away from the stage, and I'm like, you could drive a Winnebago through here. And they're like, we have been. Say it like this. We have been. And I'm like, I can't hear you. I don't hear what you're saying.
I can't hear what you're saying. My last pitch, and I don't have the joke, but I think there's a thing there when you're describing, of course, the fact of the lion and pulling all those things out. There's absolutely Tiger King references.
Oh, yeah.
It's like taking that lion
and then marrying a straight man and 2 other ones and putting him in a cage and
then trying to run for governor of Oklahoma on a libertarian.
Really funny. People will love that.
People will go crazy with it.
That's you guys are good at this.
We just love you.
Buddy.
You provide the fodder. We love it. And tell people about your podcast because we're fans number 10,000 and 10,001 on this podcast because it's so freaking good.
And growing. So Growlix Saves the World. Explain what it is.
Yeah, it's a podcast called The Growlix Saves the World. And sometimes people are confused about that. GRAWLIX. The Growlix Saves the World. It's me and Ben Roy and Andrew Overdahl. We had a show called Those Who Can't. The Sklar brothers played the Doctors Green on that show. Mm-hmm. But the 3 of us have worked together for years. And basically it's a podcast where we better the world around us by bettering ourselves. So we do passive-aggressive self-help challenges like, you need to stop doing social media. You say like too much, you're an idiot. and we just kind of like work on certain things of our lives each episode. And it's been a lot of fun. We've done about 10 episodes and it's going great.
I think it is so fun to hear you guys interact. You come at it from different angles. Each of you has a different voice. Like Ben Roy is the id. He just goes. Orvidal like lays back a little bit, and you kind of are the ringleader. It's such, you guys have fallen into such great voices on that show. To me, the funniest one was the one you just described. One of the funniest ones, I would say, start with this one, is the you guys being upset about saying the words and like too much.
Right.
And
I don't mean to interrupt you, but we tell a story. We're like, all right, second half of this podcast, the challenge is we're telling a story and we're not saying like or And if you say like or you get thwacked on the hand with a spatula. And so it turns into this like low-key jackass. All of our knuckles were just swollen and nasty. We're dumb people that say like way too much.
It's hilarious because I was listening to it. I was listening to it as I was getting a tooth filled. And I had to make them stop because I was laughing so hard. And what I loved is I couldn't see it, but the anticipation of waiting for the slap of the spatula was, to me, gold.
It's a very satisfying sound. Just give a sound Emmy to our producer on those thwaps because they came through.
It was perfect. Well, I love the show. Grolic saves the world. Keep making them. Tell the boys we said hi.
I will.
Thank you so much for doing this show, and thanks for continuing to be just one of our favorite comics.
And your son,
I miss you guys. Stay safe out there, and thanks for having me.
We'll see you soon. Adam Cayton-Holland, beautiful,
phenomenal, so funny. Man.
Adam something.
Adam something.
What
an
that
asshole.
stupid hyphenated name
Jeez.
was. I love it. I love it. All right, we are back. Sorry about that, everybody. We are here. Things happen. This is how it goes. It'd be like if somebody at a comedy club
got so drunk that they threw up on their date. We had to watch them clean it up.
We had to clean that. We just had to clean it up.
We've been through that before. All right, that was the midpoint of the show. That gave you a second to breathe for a damn second.
That's
for all this
right.
comedy. Our next comic on the show. I hope people still stayed here and stayed through that. Our next comic is someone we love, someone we've worked with in Ann Arbor. It was when we went to Ann Arbor, we were supposed to have another guy feature for us, but there was a mix up at the club. That guy never got contacted. He was never there. This guy was at the club and said, I would love to feature for these guys. And we said, let's do it. Let's have this guy come on.
Fully expecting him to suck.
We thought he would be terrible. Turns out after we watched him do a weekend of shows, we're like, we got to start bringing this guy on the road with us. He was that good. So funny. You guys are going to love him. If he's there, Zach Martina, are you there, buddy?
I am here. What's up?
Yes. Your hair is amazing.
Thank you. I gotta take the blame on that cutout. These curls, the static electricity, it tends to jack up internet connections, and that's my gift and my curse. But
I mean, well, this is the problem and this is the reason why my morning jacket can't do any Zoom calls. All right, will you please grace us with some comedy, and we'll talk to you in a couple minutes and just goof around.
You got it. So, like everyone, I've been trying to pass some time during this whole quarantine. And one of the things I've been doing are random acts of kindness. Last week, I mowed 3 of my neighbors' lawn just because I knew that it would make me feel like I was better than everyone else, and that is something that I'm looking for in these times.
Yep.
Because if you want to be kind, you have to perform an act. You can't just send a message because the kindness gets lost in translation. Last night, I got a random text of kindness from someone I hadn't talked to in years. It was terrifying. It didn't make me feel good. It read very dark. Out of the blue, I get this text. It says, "Hey, I just want you to know how much you mean to me. My life has been so much better with you in it." And I was like, holy shit. Did my mom just send me a suicide note? I called her to check on her. I was like, "Mom, is everything okay?" And she's like, "Sorry, I meant to send that to your brother." So pretty much par for the course so far. But I have been pretty fortunate to be able to go through this whole thing with my family. I really don't know what I'd do without them. I mean, I love them more than anything, but I think my wife and I could use a little social distance from each other. Just this morning, we woke up. She looked me in the eyes. She said, "Good morning." And I said, "What the fuck was that supposed to mean? Okay. Are you trying to start something right now?" We have been doing a lot together. Our favorite thing is counseling. We've started to understand how important communication is. Like there really is a difference between listening and hearing. Listening is when you shut your big fat mouth and open your heart, okay? And hearing is a legal setting that you end up in when you don't listen. So I'm working on that. Yesterday, she came home with a little gift. She brought me some new underwear. She got tighty whities. I don't know why. She said it was a mistake. I'm not so sure. She knows I hate them. She knows they ride up on me. Honestly, I was pissed off about it, all right? I really had my panties in a bunch on this one, okay? I don't know why I got so angry, but in that moment, I knew what the waistband from my last pair of undies felt like because I just snapped. And maybe that's an exaggeration. We did have an argument. Just words, no fists. I mean, we're not talking about boxers. Am I right? Truth be told, it was barely a fight. Lasted maybe a couple minutes. It was brief. She said she was sorry. I forgave her because, after all, we're talking about underwear, and that's where accidents happen. I'll tell you what, though, my daughters and I are both excited for this quarantine to be over because we have decided to start crashing parties right when the celebration is in full swing and the crowd is singing "For He's a Jolly Good Fellow," which nobody can deny. We are going to bust in and deny. We're going to go in and we're going to say things like, "I disagree. He kicked my puppy." Or "No, he's not. He abandoned my mommy and I. We're destitute." My favorite is the idea. My 7-year-old came up with this one. We're going to go in and we're just going to say, "He's neither jolly nor good. That's the man that murdered my grandfather 35 years ago in cold blood." Just give him a real story to tell about. But it hasn't all been giggles. I lost my dog. I found him. Yeah, he was mangled on the side of the road. I think it was an accident. I mean, I tried to swerve. I did, but picked him up, took him to the vet, and the doctor's like, "Hey, we're going to have to put him to sleep." And I was like, "Dude, he's unconscious. Are you even a real doctor?" So he ended up passing. The doctor, not the dog. The dog ended up dying too last winter in our backyard, doing what he loved. He was playing in the snow. And by snow, I mean cocaine. He had a real problem. I was going to put him in rehab, but you know what they say, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. So I was like, what's the point? His name was Nostradamus. He probably should have seen that overdose coming. And truth be told, our mailman is also our drug dealer, so that's convenient. I'll never forget the day he dropped off lavender-scented soaps from the internet and also the purest Colombian Bam Bam for my dog. Both products designed to titillate the nostrils, but both delivered from a very separate Amazon. And that joke is something that I wrote after my actual dog farted in my face and wafted the smell into my nose, and I just fantasized for a little bit. So.
I love it, dude. So good, so funny.
Martina.
Dude, first of all, I love your energy. I think this is what Randy and I were remembering, and the joy of being around you. The reason why we love working with you is you bring such a great energy to stand up.
So much writing. So many
jokes. I mean, to me, my pitch is he is neither jolly nor he is neither good or for what is
Jolly good fellow.
he's neither good nor jolly, and actually he's not a fellow anymore. He's transitioning, you guys, and that's not a knock. I just think you all should know.
Yes, let's not be gender specific. Let's keep it gender fluid. It's 2020, guys.
Yeah, guys, come on. That's so funny. Because who even sings that song anymore? Ever?
I don't know. We came up with that. We came up with that bit at dinner. I don't know
Like,
why.
you
I just
should
started
go
saying
in.
he's a jolly good fellow, and my youngest goes, "Yeah, no, he's not. He killed my grandfather in cold blood 35 years ago."
Your 7-year-old said that?
Oh man, I'll tell you one thing that has happened with my kids during this quarantine. They have developed very dark senses of humor. Before all this, they were coloring and playing with Barbies, and now they are writing poetry and dismembering Barbies. It's a different time.
It's better. It's a different time, but they need something to do.
For sure.
How have you been handling it? I mean, how's Ann Arbor? You're at one of our favorite places.
It's good. I mean, all the restaurants are still open. It is what you'd expect it to be.
Yeah.
I would say we are in a part of the state that is handling it a lot better than the rest of the state. I'm sure everybody has seen the news footage of those lunatics at the Capitol building, but I want to be clear. That is not reflective of everyone in Michigan. Okay.
No.
Agreed. Yes.
Agreed. I mean, we read the story of the Royal Oak commissioner woman who protested and then claimed that she was so stressed out by the backlash that she got from protesting that she then shoplifted at a Meijer. It caused her to shoplift.
There was a judge not too far away who was having an affair with a sheriff, and she got disbarred because she was using her power to somehow get beneficiary treatment in her divorce proceedings.
Okay, jeez. That's actually, look, if you're going to do it, I mean, I got to give her credit. You know what I mean? Yeah. My question is, as he approached her naked, would she say to him, "All rise"? Zach Martina, you're the best, buddy. Thank you so much for coming on.
I really appreciate you guys having me. I'd say bless your heart, but how do you already bless two hearts that are made of gold? Huh?
I love it. Question for you. How can people follow you and any of the other stuff that you've got going on?
You can find me on all social media, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, at Zach Martina. I've got 2 albums out there. I would love to check those
so
out.
good. So good.
The first one is called Skunk Man, and the second one is called Not the Worst Dad. And I just started a podcast with my buddy Chris Schlichting. It's called Immorally Speaking, where we look into childhood favorites and develop conspiracy theories. A couple examples: The Giving Tree, that boy is a serial killer. Super Mario is a drug addict. And Humpty Dumpty didn't fall; he was pushed. I think that was a really
I love all of it.
Great
conspiracy
idea.
theories in those stories.
That's a great idea, Zach Martina. If you guys, thanks so much, buddy. Have a good one.
Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. All right.
All
the comedians you're seeing, if you want to tip them, feel free to go to tickly.co, tikly.co/justforlaughs. The recommended is $5. You can give whatever you want. If you don't want to give anything, that's fine too, but we'll disperse that amongst the comedians that you're seeing today. Again, apologize for the quick break in action, but we're back. We got one more comedian. I'm so excited for this guy. I watched his Colbert set. It was fantastic.
He is Canada's own.
Canada's own. He's so good, so dry. He's like Canada Dry. He is Canada Dry.
He's a nice tall glass of ginger ale.
I love him. I can't wait to see him do his comedy on here today. Bring it home for us, the great Graham K. Graham, are you around, buddy?
God! Oh my God!
Jesus.
I wasn't expecting you guys.
You weren't expecting that. We weren't expecting.
You look great, man. I
Oh
love
my God! No, I'm in Brooklyn right now in my apartment alone, and you guys hear those motorcycles?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not in a good neighborhood. Yeah, it's a real party out there. No, I guarantee they're not wearing face masks. Anyway, or helmets. It's if you're not gonna wear a helmet, you're not gonna wear a face mask. That's the deal. But anyway, the heat is on in my apartment. It is 81 degrees right now in New York City. It is 100 degrees in my apartment. If you're watching in Canada, it's 40 degrees in my apartment. It's very hot. the heat is on. They haven't turned it off. The controls for the heat are below the bar downstairs. I live above a bar, but the bar is closed, so the heat's just on.
Mhm.
And I emailed the guy. I emailed the guy who works for the management company. I was like, and I wrote, I was like, hey, Simon, please, I beg of you. And I sent him a picture of the thermometer, and it was like 90 something. I was like, it's quarantine. I have to stay. Please, Simon, please. And then I sent it, and I looked at the email, and his name is Sam. And so I had to write back and be like, Sam, LOL, must be a heat stroke, ha. And then nothing's happening. It's just this anyway. I'm dying. I'm okay though. That life is changing. I tell you what, I sure have been washing my keys a lot more this year.
Mhm.
That's one new thing. What I've been doing is I've been not much to do in my apartment, so I've been looking out the window a lot, doing a lot of gazing out the window. And I was looking at the people who live across the way, not spying. You just notice things, kind of like that movie Rear Window, that Hitchcock movie.
Yeah.
Like that movie, I started to notice there might be some. I saw like an argument, and then I was like, oh. Next day, I think I saw some abuse, actually, some like spousal abuse. It was pretty intense.
Yeah.
And I just got really worried because that guy didn't wash his hands.
Mhm.
You gotta wash your hands before you touch someone else's face.
That's right. That's right.
He could kill her parents, And I shut up. Hey, you son of a bitch! It's 2020. Specifically March, April, and May 2020. Yeah. I thought that joke would go.
Hey, it's a great joke.
But I'm out of work. We're all out of work. All comedians are out of work. And we're all out of work, all comedians. And I couldn't help but thinking, I wonder if Louis C.K. made this much pasta when he was out of work, for a bit. I don't know. Guys, the Olympics got canceled. That's a hot new topic. And which is especially sad for me as a single guy, because who's living alone, because I was hoping to win the Pube Olympics. Yeah, they're getting pretty long. That would go. We're about 0 for 3 here, and that's fine.
Oh, you're great.
No, it's fine. But here's the thing. I a lot of my friends were like FaceTiming a lot. We're not Zooming that much because you gotta like sign up for Zoom and subscribe to or whatever. So a lot of FaceTiming. But then Android friends, they keep asking me to join Google Hangouts. So can you guys get on Google Hangouts? Like Google Hangouts are the new come to my apartment in New Jersey. Where do I go? How do I get there? Where do I can't see that where to, I've been keeping a list of people who cancel scheduled video chats with me, so I can kill them with a hammer after quarantine. You're not doing anything. You're like, well, I got to cancel talking to Graham. I'm going to go lie on my bed for a bit. Everyone's doing projects. So like, oh, I'm really glad that, the quarantine, at least I'll finally get a chance to do all these projects because there's quarantine, tackle those big projects. I'm like, what projects do you all have like a hydroelectric dam that we're planning on building? Or we're all building a Hoover Dam at some point? No one's there's no projects. Everyone's just like day 2 of quarantine. We're like, maybe I'll mop. I haven't mopped. And then you mop and you're like, well, geez. Day 3, you're like, I guess I'll finally cook with those canned peas. I'll see about those canned peas. That's day 3. I don't. I'm alone in my apartment. I'll end on this. On these, I'm alone in my apartment. There is no fiancés going to argue me walking by. There's no. I'm not going to be handing off any children. There's nobody here. There's no checks and balances. As you can see, I'm not wearing a shirt. But I would like to have kids. I would like to have kids. But I think the problem is it's already too late. It's already too late. I'm already too tired. I'm exhausted right now. Right now I'm exhausted, and I'll tell you what, audience, I have not had a long day. I woke up, had breakfast, and then I turned this on, and that's it. That's my whole day. Can't fit a kid in the mix. I'm just floored from all my projects, all my duties. But I'd like to have kids because my only sibling has severe autism, and I'm a comedian. So I guess the family line ends here. Crazy to think. It's crazy to think, that my genetic code, it goes all the way back to like caveman times, and like they kept having kids, like saber-toothed tigers. No problem. We survived, kept having kids, ice ages, kept having kids, wars, Nazis tried to kill my grandfather. It's true. He got caught hiding Jews, and then they were going to kill him the next morning. But my grandma found out what jail he was at and bribed the guards, and they went underground and they fled to the south of France. And then my mother was born there. And then they sold a Picasso ceramic bowl for a boat ride to Canada. And then they were janitors in the new country when they were lawyers in the old country. And they put my mom through university until she was one step below vice president of the Canadian Post Office. And it all ends here tonight in a single room. So it seemed like you didn't have to run so fast, Grandpa. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What was the point? He'd be just anyway, yeah, it's a lot of responsibility if your brother, your only sibling has autism, but they do make your life like you realize that things aren't that serious, like we gave him fish to take care of, but he's not good at taking care of the tank. He basically owns a swamp, and every 2 weeks the fish die, and then he takes the bus back to the pet store and buys new fish, and he's a regular to the point where these pet store employees, they know why he's there. They know why he's there. And I love that if you really think about it, every 2 weeks, these animal lovers, these professional animal lovers, are forced to choose who dies. And, it's the best. Some weird fish-themed Sophie's Choice, and that makes me happy.
That's great.
Yeah, that's it.
I love it,
dude. So funny.
Thank
So
you.
hilarious. I can't believe the line dies with you. That's so funny. I'm so tired. Here's some pitches. Do you want pitches? We got pitches.
Of course, yes. I mean, I was bombing for the first 5 minutes.
No, you weren't.
What?
We were loving it. I'm so tired. I'm tired already. I woke up. I canceled 3 Zoom meetings. I ate. I canceled 3 more Zoom meetings.
Yeah.
Canceled 3.
Zoom
The Google Hangout, the equivalent of
going to a friend's house in New Jersey
is so.
I can't
funny.
even, and this is a joke that only New York people will get.
Yeah.
I mean, is there even a path out there?
Yeah. Tell me the path.
Tell me the path, because I don't
know.
even know. Do you get it on 14th Street, 34th? I have no idea.
You can get on Christopher Street. Yeah, that's so funny. And the pubic games, I love.
Oh, so my pubic games pitch is, I was getting ready for the Olympics. I myself was having my own Olympics. I myself had to cancel my own Olympics.
Right. That's it.
I had to cancel my own Olympics, and I just did it last week, the pubic games. And I'm going to go ahead and do this, even though it's unpopular and some might consider it racist. I'm blaming Japan. For no reason. How are you handling it?
They just have a lot of pubes in that country.
We've got a lot of pubes in that country.
I'm blaming Japan. They didn't want to unpixelate this one. And,
Great.
Look at what we did.
Look at what we did right there. Shirts off. We did it. Are you writing a ton of new stuff? I mean, are you spending a lot of time writing new material? Have you done a lot of these Zoom shows?
I do like one a week just because I want to keep. You know what these Zoom shows are like. I'm first of all very thankful for being on them because I don't want to be completely rusty whenever this ends.
Yeah.
But it's like a veggie burger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's better.
It looks like a show.
Well, but I mean, you are saying things out loud, and when you come on this show, we're going to try and pitch some stuff and see if we can't give you some extra tags and add it along. But I agree with you. I think it's important to do it. It's a half step before we can get back to full things. So
it's important to keep that muscle going. The only problem is I can only think of like COVID quarantine material, which I won't be able to use.
No.
You
might be able to glean some things from what you learned from here and what you learned about
yourself. What you learn about yourself is that you are very tired. Too tired for kids.
That's true. And also, I think Pube Olympics is timeless. That's
Pube Olympics. You can bring that out. You can bring that joke out every 2 years.
Yeah.
It's the pubic games. That's the
pubic games. Graham K, thanks for joining us, man. You're the best. Oh, how can people follow you and all that other stuff that you got going on?
Well, I'm going to be releasing a web series. That's something I've been working on. It's going to be on my Instagram. My Instagram is @@.
Yep, @.
Instagram K.
Instagram K. I love it. There it is up there. Follow him right now. Everybody who's watching it.
Yeah. If you have autism in your life, I have a podcast about autism awareness. My partner has an autistic son. I have an autistic brother. It's called Autastic. If you want to listen to that.
Great. I love it, man. Dude, you are awesome. This was so much fun. I look forward to hanging out when we can do this for you.
Good to see you guys again. Bye.
Yeah, Graham K.
Fantastic.
Graham K.
What a show.
All of the people on that show. Graham K. Zach Martina.
Adam Cayton-Holland.
Rosebud Baker. What a great show. People came with their jokes. They prepared it. They brought it. We had our requisite one-time
where we bounced out of the thing and then come again. We thank you guys for following. We thank you guys for watching and supporting comedy through this time. It's super important.
We have a daily podcast called Scarborough Country, the Virus Edition. That's easy. You can go if you just look that up, you can find it. It's wherever you get podcasts. You can watch the videos of it on our YouTube page. If you look up YouTube and Scarborough Country, subscribe to that. We are @SclarBrothers on Twitter and on Instagram. Follow us there. And thank you to everyone at JFL. Thank you, Spencer Griffin, for helping to put this together and for being the
Bruce Hills for believing in us that we can do this show every week. Check out their other stuff on Mondays. The new bits for the Afterworld with Rosebud Baker, who was on this show tonight. Wednesdays, Characters Welcome. And then come back next week. We got another slate of awesome comics. Sklarantine Comedy Hour every Friday.
5 p.m. Pacific. 8
and if you want to throw a tip in at the comics you saw today, tickly.co/justforlaughs. $5 is the suggested amount. These comics hold up and they can't do the thing that they really need to do to help support their lives. So that's a great way to support them. And we just love doing this. We love comedy, and that's why we do this. There's no other reason. Like, we miss it. We love it. We're going to keep doing this for you and hopefully be a distraction that helps get you through the craziness. Stay safe.
Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.
We're out.